I'm going fishing, Dad. I'm going fishing too. Hi, I'm Wayne Candy, and I'm gonna run around as fast as I can. Watch! Yikes! 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 Camera!
I grew up in a small community called Juneau in southeast Alaska. If the weather was nice, you were out. If the weather wasn't nice, you were still out. It just wasn't quite so fun. Fishing was what you did. It was a big adjustment when I moved to the big city. I chose this house up in Bear Valley because I feel like I'm out of the city. Currently, I work for the state of Alaska in the State Pipeline Coordinator's office. I'm part of a pipeline right-of-way lease compliance team, so I perform inspections of various pipeline-related facilities throughout the state. I frequently travel up to the Arctic. I like my job because I get to see interesting places to the North Slope of Alaska and then also down the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. Some of these oil and gas facilities are really impressive. And then I get to see the beautiful parts of Alaska that these pipelines cross when I go to do environmental inspections.
This is my kitty Puma. He's from Juneau. I'm from Juneau too. I was born in Juneau. When I was a baby, I swam at the Winterhall Glacier. I have eaten fish and berries since I was a baby. And it's helping me grow big and strong. The food I like to eat, I want to know where it's from. The mighty Copper River.
I fish for Copper River red salmon in the Chitna Subdistrict Personal Use Fishery, and this is a special fishery only available to Alaska residents. In this fishery, you're allowed to use a dipnet of a certain regulation size. I'm a household of 2, so I'm allowed to take up to 30 fish, of which 1 may be a king salmon. These are the neoprene waders that I wear when I go fishing, and they keep my body warm in the cold water. Mighty Copper River is fed by glaciers. It's very cold, so this neoprene keeps my body warm while I'm standing in the river. In the summer, I think it makes sense to be where the resource is. For me, my 2 favorite resources are the blueberries and the other berries and the salmon. For fishing, it means that we set up a fish camp and we camp out for many days, however long it takes to catch our limit. The hardest thing about dip netting at the Copper River is the particular site that we dip net at is at least 2 or 3 miles down what's called the Old Copper River Highway, which is a dilapidated and washed out road that has become a foot trail. And we're hardcore. We hand carry our stuff in, and it's heavy. I'm carrying 2 sleeping bags, a tent, my dip net, which is a very heavy object, everything I need to potentially gut and bag 30 fish, everything I need to camp out for several days, all the food, all the water. Because I'm a single mom, I do all the fishing, all the berry picking, and all the cooking by myself. My biggest fear when I'm out fishing, or picking berries for that matter, is bears. Bears are doing the same thing this time of year. They're out there picking berries. Well, they're not picking them, they're just scarfing them. And they're out there scarfing fish. They're trying to get fat for the winter. We're in the same places. We're doing the same things. And I smell like fish because I'm killing fish. Picking berries and fishing are both concentration intensive, or they can be. So you get in your own little world, you're drifting off in your imagination, and you might not even notice that there's a bear there.
The bear tried to bust into the shed. It was trying to bust into something because he was hungry. Okay, camera. The bear tried to bust into the shed, and it scratched it to break the book door. My teeth are really sharp, so be careful, camera.
And as Canyon explained, we had a bear in our shed. They call this place Bear Valley for a reason. I like to eat fish. I like to fill my freezer every year with fish and berries. I like to fish for my own food because I like to know where my food came from. And the only way I can be sure of that is to catch, process, preserve, and cook it myself. I cook fish every day. When you eat fish at every meal, you get pretty creative with figuring out how to cook it. Fish tacos is always a favorite.
My mom makes salmon every day.
There have been times in the dead of winter when I've opened up the freezer and seen that there was nothing in there but fish and blueberries and thought, I can't eat this again. But there's always a new way to eat it, and there's always a new way to cook it. One of my favorite things to do with leftover salmon is what I call a salmon boat. And here you take the leftover salmon and you debone it real good, and then you mix it up and spread it on a piece of bread, and then put cheese on top. Everything's better with cheese. This is a special treat. And then you bake it in the oven until it's done. I've based my food choices on my value system. And coincidentally, all these values point me in the same direction, which is to eat local, to eat high quality food, to enjoy the food, to cook it well, to serve it with gusto with my family, but most importantly, to the extent I can, to gather my own food and the foods that are important to me. When I was in 4th grade, we took our boat north of Juneau to a place called Gustavus near Glacier Bay. We were out halibut fishing on a regular overcast Southeast Alaska day, and I felt a bite. I gave the pole to my stepdad, and it took him an hour to bring it in. It was a big ordeal getting that thing onto the boat. I look back on this picture sometimes and I just think, wow, I am so blessed to have these memories and these experiences. We ate that halibut for 3 years out of the freezer. For having been in a freezer all winter, this fish looks pretty good.
I love the way my mom cooks salmon, because Copper River salmon tastes the best. Ooh, that's a great fish. There's a whole world. It's so happy for the body. It's so happy for the body.
Will I ever get sick of fishing? Probably not. I was born in Alaska fishing. I've been fishing all my life. I plan on living here all my life, and I don't think I'll ever get sick of fishing.
We're going on the wall.